Coming up on UCF Nightly News, the UCF engineering program is making strides in the medical field. We'll show you one innovation that is breathing life into cancer patients.
SpaceX launched a rocket carrying a weather satellite. We'll tell you why this launch is important for the future of space travel.
And UCF could receive more than $100 million for photonics research. We'll show you the renderings of the new facility.
You're watching Nightly News covering the university community in the greater Orlando area.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Charles Baber.
And I'm Jasmine Hankerson. Today is Friday, February the 13th. UCF is rising to the top in technology and innovation. Nightly News reporter Allison Henning tells us about the potential medical breakthrough coming from engineering labs of UCF and UCLA.
This is a major issue.
Shagun Ilegbusi is talking about lung cancer. Officials from the Centers for Disease Control say it's the leading cause of cancer deaths in the U.S. And as a mechanical engineering professor, he's been working to bridge engineering and medicine since 2008.
Our objective was to see how we could develop, a technology that will assist and improve the treatment of lung cancer.
This is an exact replica of a cancer patient's lung, and it's the first artificial lung in the world that can mimic the exact breathing patterns of any given person. The lung breathes with the help of this machine. The breathing motion is subtle, but when sped up, it's easier to see. The machine simulates a human breath. Air comes in, air goes out. Right now, the team acquires images of a patient's lung, replicates the 3D shape on a computer, and transfers it to a 3D printer. The final stage is creating a material that will have the same elastic property as a human lung, varying from 1 inch to the next. This project itself creates even more innovation. No 3D printer in the world can print this kind of material. Yet. Researchers have to invent their own, but they are optimistic.
We think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel because, as I told you, what you see here or where we are now towards the finish line of making the material is a combination of a lot of effort.
When it's done, post-therapy patients might breathe a bit easier. Reporting in Orlando, Allison Henning, UCF Nightly News.
Partners at UCF and UCLA hope to complete the project within the next 6 months. Ilegbusi says the same technology can be used on other cancerous tissues such as breast, kidney, and liver cancer.
On to another research story. UCF is in the final round of consideration to receive a $110 million grant from the Department of Defense. The grant will help UCF Creole and other Florida research teams at the new Integrated Photonics Institute for Manufacturing Innovation. The manufacturing facility is already set to open in Osceola County in 2016. UCF officials say the grant will enhance lab opportunities for UCF researchers at the facility.
Of course, this would probably give students an opportunity to work in those labs and work alongside with those researchers. But what they'll come up with is really up to the researchers and what's the need out in the community. So I think sky's the limit for what the possibilities might be there.
UCF officials say the matched amount will total almost $230 million.
Also, since 2010, the American Statistical Association reported a 70% increase in undergrad studying computer programming. One startup group in Orlando wants to help those looking to enter the digital field. CodeStart is an interactive web program that teaches the basics of coding in languages C and C++. The creators say within 2 hours of video modules and quizzes, anyone can learn the skill. CEO of CodeStart, DJ Sullivan, says, regardless of your career path, coding is a valuable skill to have on your resume.
To have that foundational languages like C and C++ is a must-have, and a lot of employers dig that. Once they see C++ on your resume, they're gonna be like, yo, this guy knows what he's doing.
And if you're looking for a job in the field, you may be in luck. The National Science Foundation estimates by 2020, there will be more than 100 million computing and coding jobs.
SpaceX is celebrating Wednesday's successful launch after 2 scrubbed attempts. Nightly News found out that even though the mission didn't accomplish all of its goals, SpaceX says it's still good practice.
3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. The Falcon takes flight, propelling the Deep Space Climate Observatory on a million-mile journey to protect our planet Earth.
SpaceX is celebrating a successful launch of a Falcon 9 after perfect weather Wednesday night. The rocket carried a weather satellite into orbit. Discover, or Deep Space Climate Observatory, will orbit between the Earth and the Sun to measure solar radiation. Dr. Tom Berger of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the data from Discover will protect people across the planet.
Many public infrastructure systems such as satellites, GPS systems, commercial aviation, and the electric power industry are vulnerable to space weather, particularly the severe events that can sometimes occur.
To give you a better idea of how SpaceX's system works, imagine this rocket is a Falcon 9. This part here is the Discover capsule, which is still more than 100 days away from its final destination. And this part here is what SpaceX hopes to one day recover on a barge floating in the Atlantic Ocean. This video shows last month's failed attempt to land the rocket on a drone barge. Reusing the rockets will save SpaceX valuable resources, greatly reducing the cost of spaceflight. But this week's recovery attempt was scrubbed due to high waves. SpaceX will launch another Falcon 9 rocket on February 28th. Count on Nightly News to bring you the launch and tell you if they can land that rocket on a barge next time. Now, the waves were a little bit high on Wednesday, but otherwise it was a beautiful day for a launch.
Not so much this morning, though. It was a little bit nippy. De'Ara, is it going to stay that way throughout the weekend?
Yes, we will have colder temperatures for the weekend, so you do want to bundle up if you have big plans for Saturday. The winds are coming from the north at 9 miles per hour. It is slightly overcast, but there is no chance of rain, so that's good. So if you're planning to be outside and on a date outside or a picnic, you have a great weekend.
Thanks, De'Ara. Still ahead on Nightly News. After the break, we discover how one agency is putting cash into students' pockets.
And how you can have a healthier mind and body without spending a dime.
gas prices took a big jump this week. OrlandoGasPrices.com reports the average price for a gallon of gas increased nearly 20 cents. And analysts say prices are expected to go up even more this month due to rising oil costs. The national average for a gallon of regular gas is now $2.17.
And SGA may be trying to help students pay for that gas with some extra money. From housing, transportation, and tuition, UCF students have many payments away in their pockets. But the Student Government Association is offering scholarships to help students financially. SGA lists 14 scholarships on its website, and each one caters to many different students, including single parents. Overall, there are more than $70,000 available for nights, but many say they have not heard of these opportunities because they aren't well promoted. SGA Scholarship Committee Chair Joseph Piata says these scholarships are important for all students to know about.
There are a lot of applications, but obviously we are one of the largest universities in the nation, and we don't have nearly as many applications as I would like. Because if we have more applications, then we can maybe provide more funding to the student.
He also says they're working on new ways to get scholarship information out to Knights.
Knights will soon have more opportunities. UCF Rosens College just added one more feature to its program to help students from around the world. The college will now offer a fully online master's program in hospitality and tourism management. It's also offering 2 new graduate certificate programs in event management and destination marketing and management, which will open next fall.
And speaking of education, Rate My Professor is a tool that many students say they use in some point in their college career. And now an assistant professor at Northeastern created a graph that breaks down reviews students give professors. You type in the word and the graph moves to show how many times that word was used to describe a professor. The data is split by department and gender, and it shows differences in descriptions used for male and female professors.
Do you find yourself turning to unhealthy foods because they're cheaper? Sometimes it's easy to opt for that dollar cheeseburger. But what if you could get organic fruits and veggies for free just by volunteering at the Arboretum for a few hours? Nightly News reporter Vanessa Rodriguez tells us about programs right here at UCF that can help you eat right on a budget.
At UCF, officials from Pegasus Health are helping students live a healthier life with events like Superfoods for Super Health. Dr. Maria Canarozzi, medical director for UCF Pegasus Health, spoke about some superfoods essential for a healthy body. Canarozzi says these foods are nutrient-rich and especially beneficial. She says although it may seem challenging to buy these foods on a student budget, it isn't impossible.
I think buying things in season is very, very important. So like right now, strawberries are like $1.50, for a package, as opposed to in December they were $4. Blueberries, apple. Buying things in season will certainly save money.
And there's one place on campus you can find a variety of superfoods. The community garden at the UCF Arboretum is a 1-acre wonder filled with the aroma of fresh fruits and vegetables. Everything they grow here uses organic fertilizer and no pesticides. UCF students can come right here to the Arboretum and get superfoods like this organic cherry tomato. The Arboretum's Jacques Worley says the food in the garden is unlike any other.
Whatever you eat in the garden, it's nothing like you've tasted outside before. You will eat a tomato, you will eat a broccoli, you'll eat pepper, peaches. It's a full food. It's a full fruit because we pick it that day.
Produce is chosen based on seasonality. Right now, peaches, cabbages, and dino kale are growing in the garden. Worley and his team of volunteers harvest and upkeep the area 4 times a week. Worley says volunteers not only benefit from getting free organic food at the end of their shift, but they also reap social and health benefits. In Orlando, Vanessa Rodriguez, UCF Nightly News.
Arboretum administrators are teaming up with other programs on campus to bring students a cooking demo using garden ingredients. The demo takes place February 25th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Recreation and Wellness Center. Students who want to learn more about volunteering at the Arboretum can log on to our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
Well, Charles, those fruits look good, but my favorite fruit, watermelon, isn't actually growing right now because of the weather.
Well, my favorite fruit, the orange, loves the cold weather. So what's it going to be like for the rest of the time, Diara?
Thank you, Charles. Today it is a little bit chilly outside, so we do have temperatures up into the 60s, and the temperature will drop into the low 50s later tonight, so it's perfect cuddle weather going into Valentine's Day. We also have heat coming up from and to the south. Today in Orlando, as I said before, it is in the low 50s. Temperatures throughout the weekend will continue to increase, but we do have 0% chance of rain. So if you do have any plans for the weekend, like I said earlier, such as a picnic, you won't have to worry about the wind or the rain. We also have, as I said, the wind is coming from the north at 9 miles per hour. So it is moving away from us, so that's a good thing going into the weekend. And we will have more wind as it increases as we go out through that day. Currently, right now, it is in the 60s. Throughout the weekend, it looks pretty clear, 0% chance of rain going into the 60s. As the week increases onto Monday, Tuesday, the temperatures go increase, and then it is 20% chance of rain going into Tuesday. And you want to make sure you definitely have your umbrella on Wednesday because there is a 60% chance of rain.
This weekend sounds beautiful. Thanks, Deira. Still ahead on Nightly News, local deputies are launching a campaign against a common crime to honor a fallen deputy.
And President Obama is taking action against ISIL. Find out what the president is doing next. The Centers for Disease Control says heroin use is on the rise nationwide, and officials report more people are dying from heroin overdoses than last year. Heroin overdose deaths are up 39% nationwide, and in Orange County, overdoses are up by 58%. The National Institute for Drug Abuse says almost half of young adults who use heroin start with prescription drugs. UCF health officials want students to know that there are resources that they can use.
There's no safe amount of heroin, and for students that are thinking about something like that, they need to not do it, and if there are persons that are using, we can help them with services.
The Counseling and Psychological Services Center holds a Narcotics Anonymous meeting every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Orange County deputies are working to get stolen guns off the streets. It's part of a new campaign to honor fallen deputy Scott Pines. This week marks 1 year since his fatal shooting from a stolen firearm. Deputies say out of the guns stolen from cars in 2014, 83% of those cars were unlocked. Deputies suggest using locking devices to secure firearms.
We're not trying to limit people's Second Amendment right to own a firearm, but we do want to drive the point home, hey, if you're going to own a firearm, you got to own it responsibly.
The Sheriff's Office is holding an anonymous gun buyback today on Orange Blossom Trail. Anyone who turns in a firearm will receive a $50 Walmart gift card.
And UCF police are getting crafty to combat bike thieves on campus. They're trying to make potential bike thieves think twice. The Bait Bike program started on campus in 2011. The bikes are equipped with GPS trackers and help UCF PD follow and arrest bike thieves. Officials say that of the 78 reported bike thefts on campus last year, 27 of them were bait bikes. Officer Peter Stevens says despite program efforts, students need to be responsible. And this week, Orange County Public Schools voted 7-1 ban of the distribution of religious materials on school grounds. This comes after the Satanic Temple's request to pass out coloring books to students. But several religious groups say they disagree with this new rule and plan to sue the district. And now let's take a look at some headlines from around the country. Tom?
Thanks, Jasmine. The U.S. Senate voted Thursday to confirm Ashton Carter as Secretary of Defense. Carter served as Deputy Defense Secretary from 2011 to 2013. Carter is the fourth Defense Secretary under the Obama administration, succeeding Chuck Hagel, who resigned last year. 3 Muslim students were killed in a shooting near the University of North Carolina Tuesday evening. Police identified the victims as 23-year-old Dia Shadi Barakat, his wife 21-year-old Yusur Muhammad Abu Salah, and her sister 19-year-old Razan Muhammad Abu Salah. Police also say the shooter, 46-year-old Craig Stephen Hicks, turned himself into authorities. Hundreds of people gathered around the reflection pond here at UCF to mourn the victims. Police say the shooting was a result of a parking confrontation. And President Obama is moving forward with a plan to take on the Islamic State. The president asked Congress Wednesday to approve a declaration of war against ISIL. Obama also predicted Wednesday that the Islamic State will lose its battle with the United States and its allies. The proposal does not authorize lengthy ground combat operations and limits military action to a 3-year period. This will allow the next president to make a decision on the war effort in 2016. That's all for your national news update. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Tom. Still ahead on Nightly News, Chad Irwin fills us in on all things sports. And reporter Nicole Labosco gives us the scoop on what's going on with the Orlando City Lions.
And highlights from the war on I-4 next.
Welcome back, Knight fans. I'm Chad Irwin, and this is your UCF Sports Update. Just as Orlando City fans are getting excited about their MLS team, the Lions' roar might be silenced. The MLS season is in jeopardy after the collective bargaining agreement between the players in the league expired. Reporter Nicole Bosco looks into what this means for the Orlando City Lions players and fans alike.
Goal! The soccer season is here and the Lions are right in the middle of it. The number of tickets the club has sold so far for the home opener on March 8th, more than 30,000. From sweat and hard work to teamwork, the Lions are training hard to prove themselves once the season begins. But what if the long-awaited MLS season doesn't actually happen? Team members are playing under an old contract. If a new one isn't finalized by the first game, the MLS season could be delayed.
It all depends if we can come to an agreement, us in the league, and we're going to take it by that stance right now. We're willing to put forth the effort to get things done.
A key issue between the players and the league is unrestricted free agency, which would allow players to leave for another team.
Unrestricted free agency needs to be in this contract. It's something that the players have, I think, earned. It's something that economically doesn't impact the owners, doesn't impact the league at all.
Despite the dispute, fans are still excited for the inaugural season and will be clad in purple at the season home opener. Rapid ticket sales show the soccer fan base in Orlando has grown quickly. Orlando City fan Kyle Cividanes doesn't like that the season may end before it even begins.
I think that would be absolutely terrible because I'm really looking forward to watching all the players play and watching them in action.
MLS Commissioner Don Garber says the league will continue to negotiate with the players' union right until the March 7th deadline. Until then, the Lions will continue to practice for the season that fans hope they will get to see. In Orlando, Nicole Bosco, UCF Nightly News.
If the league and players reach an agreement, the Orlando City Lions season will start on Sunday, March 8th. The Lions face New York City FC at the Citrus Bowl, and you can count Nightly News to cover the event. The men's basketball team tried to stop a 6-game skid on Wednesday night against in-state rival USF. Both teams come into the game desperately looking for a win to stay alive in the conference championships. Fast forward minutes into the game, and UCF went on a 14-0 run, putting them up 26-11, and they never looked back. UCF went on to win the game 73-62, improving to 10-13 on the year. Senior forward Casey Wilson, who was questionable with a concussion before the game, led all scorers with 18 points and 11 boards. Freshman guard B.J. Taylor also had a nice night, scoring 15 points. And that's your look at sports for this week. In our second show, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chad, and thank you for joining us. Coming up in the second half hour of Nightly News with Jack Ebel and Stephanie Muniz.
Love is in the air. Nightly News will give you the inside scoop on Valentine's Day.